Hey guys, it took me a while to come up with this review, but I'm gonna give out my full impressions unedited and give you my final thoughts on the game. I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. I hated the story to the point where I found it was extremely annoying for multiple reasons. Let's start with the ending. We spent like at least a third of the game trying to find the parts of the mask to, at the end of it, have Loki break the mask in half. Like, why? Like, was that supposed to shock us in some way or another? Um, I do think that, like, in my first impressions of the game, I said that it was very much copy paste of the previous God of War. That to the point that this isn't a new God of War. This is like God of War 1.5, not even 2.0. You know what I'm saying? In my first impressions of the game, I said that the feel that I'm getting off Kratos is more of I am not willing to fight, I'm not willing to get into a war. And I was hoping maybe to see the crazy, revengeful Kratos that we saw in the first parts of God of War that came out on the PS2 and 3. And at some point, when you defeat Heimdall in the game, he says, I feel a part of my old self coming back. I'm like, alright, this is crazy, this is good. We're gonna see Kratos lose it at some point in the game and be that person. And unfortunately, we didn't. We did not see that at all. That was extremely disappointing. Like, this is, like, I'm gonna give you three scenarios at the top of my head where I think the story would have been the ending would have been a lot better for that save. Let's say, for starters, we learn in the story that Brock died previously, and then his brother Singel returned him back to life, but a part of his soul was missing. Like, I think there were 9 parts of his soul, and one of them was missing because he brought him back from the dead. So, how about for the ending? Why don't we have Loki die? And if Loki dies, Kratos loses it. He goes crazy, he goes berserk, and then that's where he kills Odin. And that's when Kratos puts on the mask. And once he puts on the mask, we can see what's in that green wall, what's inside that realm. And like the options could be, it could show him his past, it could show Kratos' past. Or it could be a way that Kratos goes into this realm to pull Loki out. And instead of giving a part of Loki's soul as a sacrifice to revive him, he gives a part of his soul, which could be the rage part of his soul, or it could be the god power of his soul. And he comes back as a man. And that could also portray the future of seeing Loki die with Kratos in his arms, that maybe in the third part, Kratos would die and Loki in his arms, instead of them switching fate somehow and Odin being the one that dies. That would have been a good option. Option 2, after the fight between Thor and Kratos, it would be nice to see that that Kratos tries to grab the hammer of Thor, but is unable to carry it. But Loki eventually picks it up using the same power that he used to pick up Ingrid, the sword of Freyr, that it swirls around him as a weapon. Instead of, because I'm sure the fans were all disappointed that we were never able to wield Mimir, the hammer of Thor. A third option, I don't know. Like, I feel, and like this is my biggest problem. You made us wait 5 full years to give us 25 hours of story gameplay. Like, when the previous God of War ended, there were some realms that the doors were unopened, so we were expecting maybe they might have DLCs come out. This entire game felt like a DLC. Like, it just continues the story, which is like, it's fine. Like, it continues the story, but still, like, there was never a moment where I'm just like, wow. Like, okay, fine, we found out that Tyr was actually Odin the whole time. Fine, I'll give you, okay, that's a bit of a shock. They killed Brock off. Like, I'm sorry, like, that's like one of the least most important characters of the game. Like, it wasn't even traumatic. In the common world, he'd be like a midget redneck. You know what I'm saying? No one really cares that much for him. If I was hoping to see, like, if Loki died, what would Kratos do? You know, like, would he bring him back? Would he go ape shit? Would he lose it and he like destroy everything and go back to the old Kratos? Or would he put the green mask on and then move to a different realm, going to Egypt, the mythology? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, look, one of the things that I didn't like about this story is that the Norse mythology, when I finished God of War 1, the previous part, I actually did some research on Norse mythology, And then when I came to this one, they have so much references of Norse mythology that it's not interesting. If you look at the previous God of Wars, like, okay, they were all Spartan, Roman. We all have some general knowledge about that. Even if you don't, you do a little research, you find out who Zeus is, who Athena is, who Poseidon is, in those stories. So, but when it came to this one with all these Norse weird names that you had to like do some research, and it just wasn't like I did. Like one of the side missions, you find out that the head that you're carrying, his ex-wife had a previous lover. Like, oh, how is that relevant in any form or factor? Why is that even a side quest? Like, is one of the writers going through something? He's going through a breakup. Did he marry somebody and found out that she had an ex-lover and he thought he was her first? Such a like disappointing. Like the whole game is around 55 to 60 hours. 25 hours is important. The story, gameplay, the development of the thing. So you tell me there's like around another 30 hours that's not really that relevant? Fine, let's say some of the side missions are relevant and interesting. So there's like 20 hours or 15 hours of just like repetitive side quests that are not really important to the story. And after you finish the story, you don't read. Like, I forced myself to finish the side quests. I thought I was done with 70% of the side quests. I was probably done with 60. While I was playing, like, find this and find that, and like look for this and look for that. That's so irrelevant. That's one of the things that bothers me a lot playing the new God of War. If I were to sum it up, I would say that the previous God of Wars in Roman mythology were Kratos going through trauma, and the Norse mythology is Kratos getting therapy, trying to heal from those wounds and traumas that he experienced in the previous God of War games. The game took way too long to come out, the new part, that like I didn't even remember the importance of tier in the previous game. If you buy the deluxe edition, like it's so worthless. There's like I didn't even notice what did they gain, like a shield, like a new armor that I never used. Honestly, the game has had like 4 updates since I bought it, and the game froze like 3 times on me, once in a very crucial time. The compass of the game probably has gone better, but it was horrible at the start of the game. I honestly didn't use it. I got lost for like 25 minutes going back and forth, just knowing that going up a wall, there's a way to take a right and there's a way to take a left. I didn't know you could take a left. So I kept going in a circle for around 30 minutes because the compass wasn't showing me. Like, all you had to do was give me an arrow pointing in which direction as a compass. The map looks the map reminds me of like a PS1 game I used to play with Roman mythology. I cannot remember the name of it. Like, Ghosts of Tsushima's map was like so much more better and easier to navigate. They stole one part of the game. There's like a small little troll that does like a chant that when you hit the other enemies, they're unaffected by your hits. They stole that from Ghosts of Tsushima. They couldn't have stolen the map. Some of the realms look very similar to others, so I don't like it's a very beautiful game, but some of the realms don't look similar to others. Something I found that was a bit funny in the game is that there is a black character, and Goda and Boda, and her grandmother plays the role of a heroin crack addict. I'm like, that's somewhat racist. Like, she steals souls for her to escape reality, and like the way she deals with that, it looks very much to like the crack pandemic that happened in the States. To sum it up, I'd say, like, imagine you got the perfect Wagyu steak, medium rare. Everything about it is amazing, but someone just takes a scoop of ice cream and puts it on top of it, and you have to eat it. Like, the vanilla ice cream or whatever ice cream that's on top is delicious, but you can't eat it with this. You know what I'm saying? With the steak, they don't mix. Maybe you have the vanilla ice cream after it. That's what I felt playing this game. Because look, I'm gonna be honest with you. There is no game out there that is as beautiful, stunning in terms of art direction as this game. There isn't. You can't find anything as aesthetic, as beautiful, with the amazing graphics as God of War. The gameplay is unbelievably fun. Killing monsters, the sword, the wielding of your axe, the chains, the spear, ridiculously fun. But it's just the story was meh. It wasn't like, it was a 5 out of 10. I'd give the story, really. But everything else is a 10. So it's hard for me to rate this game. A part of me is like, give it a 10. The other half is like, no, like, they really disappointed you. They made you wait 5 years to come up with a game, which was just copy paste of the previous game. Yes, Like there was a dragon fight in the previous one that I was like, whoa, you know, like that was really fun. They gave us 5 dragon fights. I'm like, okay, like I already had a dragon fight. Give me something new. The trolls from the previous one, still the same trolls in this one. Nothing really, like, I'm not gonna lie, I did have fun playing this game. It's just that the jump of the 2018 God of War from the previous God of Wars was immersive. It was incredible. Like, no one saw this jump happening in terms of everything. And then now to find out that it wasn't even a jump, it wasn't even a step. They just took one step to the right, and like, here's the same game, just a lot more monsters, a hell of a worse story. And yeah, like I'm so disappointed that we couldn't, like there wasn't a chance for them to show us like a different ending. Like if Loki died and Kratos brought him back, or if Loki died and that was the end of it, or if Kratos died and we bring him back in the next one, like, or if when he goes in, like let's say Loki dies, he puts on the mask, he goes in to see the port, he goes in the green portal, and he gives a part of his soul out, and then we discover that in the next part, the soul is put in a box, like a Pandora's box, which was like something he wanted to open in the previous God of Wars, and now he's the protector of this box because there are evils out there that want to open the box and gain the god power that Kratos had. Like somebody from a different realm coming to this one. So many more options. Like they left like the previous one, they left us with Thor is gonna be your next enemy. This one they left us with you're going to be planting flowers in the next God of War. Like, yeah, just so disappointed in this story, but everything else is good. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Sorry if it's a downer. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. Tell me how you would have ended the God of War. What would you like to change? What did you like? And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.